Hello and welcome back to the daily edition of Into Vietnam, exclusively on VITV channel. In today's program, we look at the following stories. Public-private cooperation is promoted. Positive signs are witnessed after 1 month of exchange rate adjustment. FDI into real estate surged by 65% in the first half of 2014. On July the 16th, a high-level dialogue on public-private partnership or PPP in Vietnam took place in Hanoi. The dialogue was jointly held by Vietnam's Ministry of Planning and Investment and Japanese Bank of International Cooperation.
Vietnam's Deputy Minister of Planning and Investment Đào Quang Thu said the country is in the process of promoting modernization and industrialization, as well as seeking for all of the resources for growth from the domestic and international private sector through the mechanism in conformity with international practices and specific circumstances. In particular, Vietnam has designed a mechanism for PPP. Currently, the ministry is finalizing the last draft of the PPP decree and will submit to the government in August. Japan is the leading trading partner as well as top investor in Vietnam. The two countries' potential for cooperation, especially for investment, is very huge. Currently, a number of Japanese corporations are interested in negotiating with Vietnamese partners to invest in a number of thermal power projects such as the Nghi Xuân No. 2, Vũng Áng No. 2, and Vân Phong No. 1. In general, Japanese investors hope the decree will create favorable conditions for the investment, especially simplifies procedures.
1 month after the State Bank of Vietnam adjusted the exchange rate up by 1%, the foreign currency markets saw no significant fluctuations and trading activities were still normal. The exchange rate adjustment supported exports and through this supported the whole economy. However, the move is also considered as an obstacle for domestic businesses who have trading activities with foreign partners. VITV reporter has more.
Compared to June the 19th, when the State Bank of Vietnam officially adjusted the US dollar's Vietnam dong exchange rate, the forex market has returned to stable, even strongly downward. In the trading session last weekend, the exchange rate dropped 189 Vietnam dong per dollar from the previous week and down to 122 Vietnam dong per dollar from the session on June the 19th. The average interbank exchange rate announced by the state banks stood at 21,246. It shows that the exchange rate adjustments indirectly affirms the stabilization policy of the state bank.
Ví dụ điển hình nhất là gần đây chúng ta đã điều chỉnh tỷ giá tăng thêm 1%. Thì lúc đầu có rất nhiều ý kiến nói về vấn đề này. Thế nhưng trên thực tế thị trường đã chứng minh là tất cả các cái định hướng điều hành của ngân hàng nhà nước là đúng đắn. Thì đến giờ phút này thì tỷ giá đã lập lại một cái mặt bằng ổn định trên một cái cơ sở mặt bằng mới. Và chúng tôi cũng không loại trừ khả năng là trong những ngày tới thì ngân hàng nhà nước sẽ lại tiếp tục mua được dự trữ ngoại hối để tăng thêm dự trữ ngoại hối nhà nước.
In terms of the effects of the exchange rate, most of the exporters said that the old exchange rate has remained for such a long time. It should be adjusted to match with the changes of the domestic and global economy. Therefore, the recent exchange rate adjustment by the State Bank is appropriate.
Thì bên mình thì cái việc mà tăng tỷ giá như thế thì cũng là tạo một điều kiện có lợi cho doanh nghiệp xuất khẩu đến doanh nghiệp mình, bởi vì khi mà tăng tỷ giá lên thì đương nhiên là cái giá thành sản phẩm nó sẽ giảm xuống, và như thế thì cái sự cạnh tranh của mình nó cũng có lợi thế hơn.
Đối với cái tình mà tất nhiên những cái đơn vị xuất khẩu khi mà tỷ giá mà nó có cái tăng lên thì như thế này thì làm cho cái doanh nghiệp xuất khẩu cái thu lợi nó tốt hơn, cái khả năng khuyến khích họ tốt hơn.
However, the 1% higher exchange rate followed by higher price of US dollars is an obstacle for domestic businesses who have trading activities with foreign partners.
Chúng tôi thì thường đã ký kết với cả đối tác và những hợp đồng để lấy dịch vụ trả bằng ngoại tệ, mua những dịch vụ tour ở nước ngoài. Còn đối với khách Việt Nam thì chúng tôi cũng đã công bố mức giá bằng tiền Việt Nam. Và chúng tôi khi mà biến động như vậy thì vô hình chung là giá đầu vào đã bị tăng và chúng tôi không thể điều chỉnh giá tăng lên cho khách được. Và cái này thì chắc chắn là đã ảnh hưởng đáng kể với lợi nhuận và tạo thêm cái khó khăn cho doanh nghiệp mà đưa khách Việt Nam đi du lịch nước ngoài.
Tôi thấy rằng là cái việc mà tăng tỷ giá thế này ảnh hưởng rất là lớn đến những công ty liên quan đến việc nhập khẩu và những cái doanh nghiệp mà có những khoản vay bằng ngoại tệ đơn cử như có thể là vay trong nước hay là vay từ những công ty mẹ mà chuyển tiền từ nước ngoài về, thì việc tỷ giá tăng như này sẽ ảnh hưởng rất là xấu đến tình hình tài chính của công ty, bởi vì với khoản tiền khi mà chuyển đổi ra tiền Việt như vậy thì cái khoản vay bây giờ sẽ là khoản vay có trị giá lớn hơn rất là nhiều, và nó sẽ còn không chỉ những khoản vay gốc đó mà còn ảnh hưởng đến cả những cái lãi suất vay hàng tháng mà công ty phải trả ra.
The recent exchange rate adjustment shows the flexibility of the state bank, basing on the market supply and demand, and matching with the downward trend of the domestic currency. However, economic experts warn that the exchange rate shouldn't impact on the domestic prices and prices of importing items, causing price instability. Therefore, the state bank should closely follow the developments. The Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Industry and Trade, and relevant industries should work with the state bank to ensure the goals of the adjustment, including supporting exports and ensuring forex balance in the coming time.
In its updated reports on Vietnam's trade activities in the second half of June, the General Statistics Office said Vietnam enjoyed a trade surplus of $1.51 billion between January and June. Specifically, trade revenues stood at $140.7 billion, rising 13.1% on year. Export brought home $71.1 billion, up 15.3%, with key export commodities of garment and textiles, mobile phones and spare parts. Vietnam spent $69.6 billion to buy goods and services, up 11% from 1 year ago. And major import items included machinery, tools, computers, and electronic products. Coming up next is some foreign direct investment news. According to CBRE, one of the foreign property service providers in Vietnam, foreign direct investment for the real estate market hit $692 million in the first half of this year, a year-on-year increase of 65%. A number of property projects emerging in the period included Anma Resort, worth $300 million in the central Khánh Hòa province, a $234 million urban areas in the western part of Westlake, and a $200 million apartment building project. This shows that the country real estate market is attractive again to foreign investors. Resort projects have proven their advantages, while housing ones have seen positive changes, mostly in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, with increasing supplies and falling inventories. In the first 6 months of 2014, real estate ranked third among all economic sectors in terms of foreign investment attraction, with 9 new projects registered. In other news, foreign investment into the southern city of Ho Chi Minh has mainly flew into the garment and textile industry, which accounted for 82% of the total funds and worth approximately $200 million. The Ho Chi Minh City Economic and Processing Zone Management said investment in high-end garment and textile production accounted for 71% of both local and international investment in the areas in the first 6 months of this year. The HEPSA said as the global garment market is projected to develop by 3.5% and Vietnam is negotiating the TPP, foreign investors have had big investment in all control garment and textile companies in Ho Chi Minh City. The Dung Quất oil refinery needs up to $2 billion to raise its annual processing capacity from its current 6.5 million tons to 10 million tons in the future. A representative of Bình Sơn Refinery and Petrochemical Company, which is operating in the refinery, said the Japanese contractor JZC was working on the refinery expansion plan, which was expected to be submitted to the Prime Minister for approval next month. The refinery resumed operation at full capacity on Monday after the second major maintenance that lasted 56 days. Several major technical flaws were fixed and the single-point mooring upgraded, allowing it to receive oil tankers of up to 150,000 tons. Previously, it could only accommodate 100,000 tons tankers. By the year end, the refinery planned to churn out about 2.6 million tons of products, contributing 12 trillion dong or $564 million to the state budget. The American Department of Commerce, or DOC, announced its final decision on the dumping tax of oil country tubular goods imported from Vietnam and 8 other nations. Vietnamese companies were conducted to dump taxes from 24.55% to 111.47%. Vietnamese CA Steel Company was applied the final dumping tax rate of 24.22%, while hot rolling pipe was applied the highest rate of 111.47% by the DOC, as this company refused to answer investigation questions of the DOC. The International Trade Commission of the United States is supposed to deliver the final conclusion on the destructive effects on its native steel production due to imported products from Vietnam on August 25th this year. If the Commission concluded significant impacts and potential risk, the DOC will apply the mentioned rate on local firms this September. The DOC also revealed the United States imported $110 million worth of oil country tubular goods from Vietnam in 2013. Vietnam has become a promising market for beer production as the country tops Southeast Asia in beer consumption, totaling 3 billion liters of beer per year. The high demand places Vietnam the 25th worldwide and the 3rd in Asia in beer consumption. Last year, the Vietnamese person drank 32 liters of beer, leading Southeast Asia. Meanwhile, global average beer consumption has remained almost unchanged over the past decade, at 6.13 liters per person per year. Vietnam is home to more than 400 beer companies with around 30 international brands. In the end of 2013, Slovakia BTG Holdings started building a beer plant in Hoa Binh Province, while Sapporo Vietnam in Long An Province has plans to raise the annual capacity to 100 million liters of beer from the current 40 million liters for export to more than 10 countries. Last but not least is the update of local gold prices, forex and stock market. Well, that's the end of this program. Thank you so much for your attention. We'll see you this time tomorrow, and goodbye for now.